Mystery has surrounded the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's decision to call their daughter Lilibet since the BBC's royal correspondent, Johnny Diamond, claimed last year that they did not ask the Queen if they could use her family pet name. In response, Prince Harry and Meghan launched an unprecedented legal attack on the BBC, saying the story was false and defamatory. Their spokesman said, "The Duke spoke with his family in advance of the announcement. In fact, his grandmother was the first family member he called. During that conversation, he shared their hope of naming their daughter Lilibet in her honor. Had she not been supportive, they would not have used the name." Now, a friend of the royals has added to the mystery of what they did or didn't say in their telephone conversation with the monarch. Interior designer Nicky Haslam, whose royal pals include everyone from the Duchess of Cornwall to Prince Michael of Kent, claims the Queen had been under the impression that the child, who was born last June, would be named Elizabeth, and was taken aback to discover that the couple had, in fact, called her Lilibet. Says Haslam, "I heard Harry, rang her and said, 'We want to call our daughter after you, Granny.' She said, 'How charming of you, thank you,' thinking that it would be Elizabeth. So they got the permission, but they didn't say the name." What Haslam, 82, heard may, of course, be inaccurate, and we may never know where the truth lies. Lilibet has important sentimental connotations for the Queen because it was the name used in private for her by her father, George VI, and by her late husband, Prince Philip. Speaking on the Third Act podcast, Haslam goes on to question why Harry and Meghan didn't name the baby after the American former actress's mother instead. "Why on earth didn't they call that baby Doria?" he asks. "It's the prettiest name ever." A spokesman for the Sussexes did not comment, more than 3 days after I asked them about Haslam's claims. In their push to say they were given the Queen's blessing to name their new baby daughter, Lilibet, Harry and Meghan may have overplayed their hand by threatening the BBC with legal action over reports they did not ask permission, and having their friends leak information to friendly American media about their interactions with the Queen. They might have forced Queen Elizabeth into a royal corner, and nobody puts Elizabeth in a corner. Over the weekend, the monarch issued instructions to her courtiers to henceforth correct any statements which misrepresent her private conversations or those other senior royals, the Mail on Sunday reported. The Queen made this move after she became the weekend's Twitter star for her successful meetings with President Joe Biden and other world leaders, gathered for the G7 summit in Cornwall, England. The final straw for Elizabeth II in dealing with royal-related allegations coming from her grandson and his wife in California, the Daily Beast reported, were their claims they had discussed with her about using the Queen's nickname, Lilibet, for their new daughter. The Queen's perspective is that she was never consulted about the use of her nickname, which has personal connotations, according to the BBC and other outlets. Rather, she may have felt she was presented with the name as a fait accompli and asked to rubber stamp it, the Daily Mail reported. These instructions mean that the royal dictate of never complain, never explain about contentious royal reports has been abandoned, at least with regards to Harry and Meghan, according to Daily Beast. The spokesperson said, "The Duke spoke with his family in advance of the announcement. In fact, his grandmother was the first family member he called. During that conversation, he shared their hope of naming their daughter Lilibet in her honor. Had she not been supportive, they would not have used the name." In the end, he mentioned Lilibet to Meghan when discussing potential names for their children, and she loved the idea. It's a fitting tribute to the Queen and something many people will hope brings the family closer together. Lilibet is the affectionate nickname the Queen was given by her grandfather George V as a child after she had trouble pronouncing Elizabeth. It was also one of the affectionate names the late Duke of Edinburgh used for his wife of 73 years, another one being Cabbage. The Queen, who has been staying at Windsor Castle during the coronavirus pandemic, signed Lilibet on the card she left on top of Prince Philip's coffin before he was laid to rest in April.